When you first open Motion, you'll see the project browser, and we'll return to these settings in a moment, but for now, just create a Motion project and press Open to see the user interface. This is the main Motion user interface, and I'll just give you a quick tour, which we'll expand on as we go through the course. Here on the left-hand side, you'll see the library and the inspector. You can switch between these two by clicking on the tabs or by the buttons at the top, and clicking the one that's already selected in blue will hide or show that pane once again. Now the library lets you access pre-built elements. Some of these apply animations, some of them change how things look, some of them, the generators, are things you can already access in Final Cut Pro and then modify or change that content. There's also shapes, and within each category you can select the elements down below and see a preview up above. Now some of these are animated. There's a whole section called Content, say an ant or an ant colony, you can see building up there now. There's some arrows as well, and in fact a wide variety of things if you don't want to build everything yourself from scratch. For example, there's one here called Atom 02, and to be able to change or manipulate it, I need to add it to my project. The project's over here on the right, so I'm going to drag from the bottom of the library to the Layers panel in the middle. And now it's been added to my composition or project. The Layers panel is a little bit like the Layers panel in Photoshop, a vertical stack. Here, I can show or hide any element, and if it's got a disclosure triangle, then I can expand the contents of that element out, exposing exactly how it's built, and potentially allowing you to reverse engineer it. This circle, then, is a partly visible element which has been repeated, duplicated, and then animated. You can lock any element using the lock icon, and even switch between 2D and 3D modes, though that's something for another time. If you want to see things in motion, then you can use this pane down here, the timeline pane. The left-hand part of this looks and works much like the Layers panel above, but indeed you don't always want to see animation, and you can hide the entire timeline pane by pressing that little button there. You'll still have a mini timeline just below the viewer, which you can use to see and change the currently selected element. There are other panes involved in each of these areas of the program. So next to Layers, there's Media and Audio, and they're all relevant, though most of the time you'll stay in Layers. With the Video pane down at the bottom, there's Audio available next to Video, though nothing there right now, and the keyframe editor. And again, there's nothing to see yet, but we'll explore that soon. With each of these, you can show or hide with a click, and if it's blue, it's visible. If it's white, it's not. There are many other menus and buttons around each area. For example, at the top of the viewer, I can choose to fit to zoom it out and show everything, or choose another view. I've got other drop-downs here to show what I'm seeing. Is it color or alpha? I can look at the render menu to change the resolution, which defaults to full but with dynamic, so it'll drop the resolution if necessary. I'm on normal quality, but there's other settings here. And am I including lighting, reflections, and other things like that? At the top of the window, I've got a selection of buttons to add objects, behaviors, and filters, to make particles or replicate. And then the HUD, the heads-up display, can be activated or deactivated, providing quick access to whatever you've got selected. There's another button to import, which we'll use soon, but probably the most important element in Motion, which you'll use all the time, is the inspector. Whatever you have selected, you'll see 4 panes along the top: Properties, Behaviors, Filters, and a fourth which changes. So if I was to select a replicator, it shows me replicator options. A shape shows shape options. Properties is very common and will let you change the most common properties about the selected object. I can do some of these things in the HUD, but the HUD is optional and you can hide it if you don't need it. To quickly show or hide any part of this interface, some shortcuts are important, and the window menu holds most of them. You can see the shortcuts here. Command 2 through 9 to show various interface panes. Command 9 for audio, Command 8 for keyframes, Command 4 for layers, for example. Any of them can be used with the shortcut. The F keys are also important, which means F1 through F4 gives you access to the different panes in the inspector. And then F5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 are all important as well for showing or hiding other parts of the interface. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to make a new project and get all the technical stuff correct.